Okay. Yep, nope, Tom will be here tonight. Ryan should be coming. I think we'll have a full sweep, so. How do we look over there? Are we live? Can you refresh it maybe? Give a moment. Yeah, we're good. Okay, good. Okay. Camille, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, good. Just want to make sure we could hear you.
So I'm curious. Every time I log in to our to the Zoom meeting, it already says, even when it was, so I logged in at 6:30 just to have it, sitting waiting.
Yeah.
But it already says recording, and it already says live on YouTube. So is that just like that it's scheduled to? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I have to basically set it up to go live and prepare about 30 minutes ahead of time just to make sure the stream's actually going. So technically it all is live, and all I do is I chop it down for the actual recording once it gets uploaded to YouTube. And so we're not actually broadcasting through YouTube, it's just pushing a live stream to YouTube. Once we first jump on.
Gotcha.
So there's no comments available, or can you click over there or no? Okay. Oh, let me see. Yeah, mine says enable live chat. So we should be good to go.
Maybe, yeah, 7 minutes.
Maybe when it's actually, yeah.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Got you loud and clear, Tom. Yep.
All right, good.
Okay, I think we're just waiting on Mr. Wakely at this point. There we go. Oh, does the live chat work or just comments disabled? Can you click in the live chat on the side of the? Here, let me check that.
I'm looking at the live at the YouTube channel also.
Okay.
It looks like I can try to chat.
If you can chat, that's great. We've got comments disabled just because that's a monitoring nightmare, especially putting it out there live. So live chat, that's the only thing I'm really worried about. I want to make sure that's good to go.
Oh, it just says I have to create a channel to join the chat though.
Yeah, I think you have to log in with an actual email account.
Right. And I don't think I'm logged in. So
yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah, no, I am.
Let's see here. Let me send a message to Ryan.
Wow, that's super laggy. It's funny to see how far it is behind.
Oh, the YouTube to
Yeah. There's Ryan.
Oh, there we go. Perfect.
Sorry guys, finished eating dinner.
No, you're good. Awesome. So we're already live. We're streaming to YouTube right now. Hello, Kathy. How you doing? So I'm going to go ahead and kick the meeting off. I'm going to call the meeting to order at 7 p.m. on the 26th of January. Ms. Carolyn, if we can go ahead and have roll call. Thank you.
Sure. Shirley Berghorn.
Here.
Ryan Wakely.
Here.
Conrad Lubinsky.
Here.
Jordan Dirksen.
Here.
Camille Wilcox.
Here.
Linda Wolfarth.
Here.
Tom Green.
Here.
Okay, awesome. And so it's going to go over a couple of ground rules again, since we are broadcasting still. I'm going to go ahead and ask for a motion when it comes to a motion for something. give a motion. I'll ask for the second, then we'll have somebody give a second, and then we'll go into roll call for that. We're streaming live on YouTube. People can join the Zoom meeting as well if they want to. Let me make sure that's started as well. We're good to go there. And now let's kind of roll through it. If I can get a motion for approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. Linda.
Okay, Trustee Wolfarth makes the motion. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Wakely makes the second. Ms. Carolyn, can we have roll call? Thank you.
Shirley Burkhorn,
Aye.
Ryan Wakely,
Aye.
Conrad Lubinski,
All right.
Jordan Dirksen,
Aye.
Camille Wilcox,
Aye.
Linda Wolfarth,
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Moving forward, can I get a motion for approval of the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, a motion's made by Trustee Dirksen. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Second is made by Trustee Wakely. Ms. Carolyn, can we have a roll call on that?
Shirley Burkhorn,
Aye.
Ryan Wakely,
Aye.
Conrad Lubinski,
All right,
Jordan Dirksen,
Aye.
Camille Wilcox,
Aye.
Linda Wolfarth,
Aye.
okay, motion carries. If I can get a motion for approval of the bills.
I'll make a motion to approve the bills.
Okay, Trustee Dirksen makes the motion to approve. Can I get a second?
I'll second it. Linda.
Trustee Wolfarth makes a second. Carolyn, can we have a roll call on that? Thank you.
Shirley Burkhorn,
Aye.
Ryan Wakely,
Aye.
Conrad Lubinski,
All right,
Jordan Dirksen,
Aye.
Camille Wilcox,
Aye.
Linda Wolfarth,
Aye.
okay, motion carries. I don't believe there's any open issues at this time, so we'll kind of move through that. Moving on. Now, originally, I know there was another agenda that went out and was broadcast to residents as well. It was just a draft. It wasn't the final version. So what we have before us, there's only one item on the agenda under myself to review Title III, Chapter 1 of the Village Code. And that's the official agenda. And we'll talk about the other items that were on the draft in a minute here. But the reason I want to address this is I'd like the residents as well, that's totally fine. The trustees though, to take a look at Title III, Chapter 1. It has to deal with business registration and kind of involvement with the village, and what the due process is for that. Now, this hasn't been updated in some time and it could use some review. We've had a couple businesses come into town over the last year or so, and it's definitely shown that we need to make sure that we make an effort to kind of on at least a yearly basis review some of these more commonly used license regulations, things like that. So when we're looking at Title III is just business and license regulations. Chapter 1 is business registration regulations. And the scope is just a chapter provides procedures, unless otherwise provided, under which existing or new businesses, whether for profit or not for profit, and any non-residential use of land or structures shall be reviewed for compliance with all village regulations. Purpose of this chapter is to ensure effective enforcement of village codes and ordinances, to afford protection to business owners and users concerning whether a proposed use will be in compliance with the village regulations, and to provide the village with a current list of business establishments. So it looks like some of this was updated back in 2012. It's 2021 at this point. We obviously need to revisit this. So I'd like the trustees, like I said, kind of dive into this, look into it, come up with ideas of how we could potentially update this, revamp it a little bit. I think fees need to be addressed. Do we need to incorporate a yearly business registration fee? What other communities doing so that we have an idea of how many businesses are operating in Cape Breton and continue to operate? Nothing crazy. I'm not saying like an exuberant thing, but something just so we see a yearly kind of interaction from those businesses. And then maybe a little bit more of a revision to the approval or denial of registration. And right now it's fairly basic. And so we have to, render a determination. There's a written, within 10 days, following the decision, we have to, kind of thing. I think it can be cleaned up a little bit. I'd probably like to see something more like business applications are reviewed the first meeting of the month kind of thing. You know, we can discuss it the second meeting, review it, potentially approve it the first meeting in the month. If they don't get it within a certain, you know, amount of days before that meeting, we're not going to review it kind of thing. And that's kind of why I pushed off that other topic people saw on the previous agenda, which was a potential application for an art gallery / tattoo shop establishment. We'll talk on it a little bit more in a moment. I'd like to get the board's opinion on that. But what we're going to end up doing, though, is I push that off till the next meeting. I'd like the individual to actually be present for that and present his idea, his business plan, his thought process to the board in person kind of thing. So is there any questions from the board concerning this, or kind of what the intent is or what we're looking for?
You
This
just
is
want us
Camille.
to read it and basically come up with ideas of any changes and then let you know.
Well, yeah, but also look into other communities. Look, how does Poplar Grove handle it? Belvedere, you know, Caledonia, Chemung, Harvard, you know, surrounding areas, see how they do it and see if there's any ways we could improve ours a little bit. Yes, Camille, I think you're commenting as well.
Yeah, the one part that I'm concerned mainly about is the restriction of the location.
Okay.
I'd like to see an amendment to that. It's 3-8-8 and like remove that section because, or at least modify it because, yeah, the restriction is 1,000 feet near any, you know, from a church or a daycare or, you know, all those that are listed there. And I don't know why we have that restriction in this day and age.
Let's
I know it's
see.
like, I could see that maybe 50 years ago, but
Mm-hmm.
in today's
Let me.
world, I mean, a tattoo parlor is not what it used to be. And so I think restricting the limit to 1,000 feet between that and a church or a public park or a school, I'm not sure where it would end up being accepted in the town if we have
Gotcha.
that large of a restriction. 1,000 feet is a lot.
So that was what was it again? 3-8 dash what?
-8. 3-8-8.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
I'd like to see that
under tattoo
restriction
parlors.
removed. Pardon me?
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that, Camille. I hadn't looked that far into it since the kind of the agenda item just said
Yeah.
chapter 1, so that's all I really looked into. But I completely agree with what you're saying, that yeah, those restrictions down there, I completely agree with that. I mean, like you said, we're pretty small, and you get 1,000 feet. We've got a church right on the main drag. You get 1,000 feet away from that. I don't know exactly how far that is, but I would imagine you'd be pretty close with trying to stay 1,000 feet away from the church right on 173. That'd be, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I completely agree.
You've got the church there, and you've got daycares here and there spread out.
Right.
Mhm.
You know, you've got a school down the road, and then I just don't know where any business would ever set up without hitting one of those restrictions.
Yeah. Now, mind you, I'd like to clarify too that this only, for what we're talking about right now, only that 3-8-8 applies to tattoo, body piercing, branding, and carving establishments. I don't exactly know what body carving is, to be honest.
It's crazy.
But
Crazy.
this doesn't apply to all businesses. But no, this is what I want the board to kind of look into and review a little bit as well. We need to obviously have a kind of a deeper dive into this. Yes, Tom.
Yeah, I was just going to comment that that's a great observation. I would say in the communities that I represent that range from McChesney Park at 25,000 down to Caledonia at 60 households. If you had 1,000-foot restriction in Caledonia, you couldn't put it anywhere. Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
There's a church here, there's a school there, and and it's very common to see the distance restrictions like this shrink as the community shrinks, because it's just natural. I mean, in McChesney Park, there's a half a dozen commercial districts, and they're a little more intense, and there's transitions where you go from commercial retail to multifamily, then transitioning into single family. They have the room to do all that. So I think the comment is very appropriate. And I think you're looking at all the right things when you're talking about that stuff.
Perfect. But awesome. Now, this is exactly the kind of discussion I want to see happen. So let's take the next 2 weeks then, dive into this a little bit, review chapter 8 as well. Let's review chapter 1. You know, if you want to look through more of it, that's fine. Bring up those topics to the next meeting, and we'll kind of go from there. I know this says we have no person shall engage or carry business. So I think we're okay to put it off another meeting or so here. That's fine with what's currently on the books, but I'd like to see this updated potentially. That's a great point, Camille. Is there any other comments people have on this, or, you know, questions so far?
No, I agree with her so far.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. So you had mentioned possible fees, possible fee changes and possible yearly interactions and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, is there any kind of, I guess, I realize you're leaving it kind of broad to see how we all kind of look at it. Is there any kind of specific direction that you're thinking of with them other than what you've already mentioned, or kind of just to update things? And
with the tattoo shop in particular, or business registration just as a whole?
Both.
Tattoo shop in particular, there's no real, I guess, direction I have for that in particular, saying this needs to happen because it's a tattoo shop.
Right, for sure.
Mostly my point is, I know as we look through the files, you know, there could be anywhere from, you know, several established businesses that we all frequent, we know are part of the community, to a number of smaller businesses that we realize applications were submitted for, they're approved, and we haven't heard anything since. Does the business still exist? Is this person running this business out of their home? Are there other similar type businesses that don't realize you need to register with the city because there isn't that interaction? So really, I just be looking at something where, you know, potentially we have a business license that's renewed yearly for a very nominal fee, just so we have that interaction with the businesses to say, yes, this is still an established business. They're still operating. We're keeping tabs that they're following proper guidelines, you know, for whatever type of establishment it is. And that's mostly kind of my intent behind that. And Tom could probably speak to, I don't know if you know of any other communities that do something similar.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I will say it's very common. I think, again, it's scale. Larger communities,
Yeah.
It's really difficult to track when a business closes, when it's open, you know, and you're exactly right. The fee is very nominal. They're not looking to really raise money. They're just looking to be able to track who's in business in the community and who's not. You know, it might be a $20 fee or a $5 fee, but just updated annually. You might have home occupations. I mean, are they still doing whatever it is they wanted to do at their home? Is it still active? And with the annual renewals, you can kind of keep track of that.
And that's exactly what I'm thinking. And just a perfect example, without getting into too much details, I know there was a massage therapy type establishment being run out of somebody's home. Obviously, if you're running that type of establishment, there's certain guidelines you need to meet, and there might even be certain state guidelines you need to meet. Well, are they still in business? Are they still operating? Do they still exist, kind of thing? So that's kind of more what I want to get into a little bit is, are we keeping you know, businesses honest? Are we actually monitoring these businesses? Are we making sure the businesses are still functioning how they should be? And then we're also keeping residents safe at the same time and understanding that, you know, yes, we're involved in these processes. Does that kind of answer the question a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Cool. Is there any other kind of questions regarding this? Or if not, I think we'll kind of roll into a little bit. We'll talk about the first topic that originally was on the agenda, which is Garrison Art and Apparel. And I've got a business plan type letter here. I'll go ahead and just read to the board and the residents as they're looking to, I guess, enter the, you know, into a more established type presence within the community here. Garrison Art and Apparel, it says, our goal with Garrison is to create a place for all of our Capron locals to shop and explore. I will be mixing, and this is not me, this is me reading on behalf of Brandon Scholar, I believe the name is. I will be mixing old Western Americana and fresh air from our live plants and open area layouts already in our building. We will offer a variety of items printable on site with a one-of-a-kind hub for vinyl stickers and t-shirts, as well as our stock of custom jewelry and knickknacks. The atmosphere would be a very calm and welcoming place. Somewhere anyone can be at their calmest to be free to shop and browse all the decor and collectible artwork. I will also be honoring all my military heroes with historic images and portraits mixed throughout the shop. With every profiting year, it is my goal and duty to give back to my local community in as many ways as possible. I'll provide a very sterile environment for my true passion as a professional tattoo artist with 9 years of experience in several states, working and learning in some of the best tattoo shops our country has to offer. I am more than confident in the skill set and heart I have to take this business to its full potential. I have also had the honor of serving my country and community as a soldier in our Illinois Army National Guard, as well as our Army Reserve for 8 years. It is my target to now grow the best business I can for my community, my family, and myself. I hope you will all allow me to show this world a new standard for business with honesty and a whole lot of hard work. Thank you sincerely, Brandon Moose Scholar. So that's what he's kind of presented to us. I've got the application in front of me that needs to be reviewed. And then I guess it's also up to the board to look and review that chapter 8 as well, to kind of see where we fall and how we feel on the establishment, and if we think this is a good fit for the community. Reach out to the residents, ask for their input, see what they have to say on this, and then we'll kind of go from there. Definitely something I just don't want to necessarily jump into and say, let's make a wham bam decision tonight. Let's take some time, let's deliberate a little bit, and then make an educated decision on this. Any questions on that?
No, but I do want to say turns out like when I got the email about the application, I actually know the guy, and he's an amazing artist. Knows exactly what he's doing. Professional, and
Okay.
Obviously, all for our country and everything. So yeah, it'd be an amazing opportunity for him and for our community as well. Not just speaking because I have tattoos, but but no, he's an amazing individual and does amazing artwork, and I think it'd be an amazing fit for me.
Okay, awesome. Definitely. Thanks
I
for
have
that
a
input, Ryan.
question.
Yeah, go ahead, Camille.
Where's the proposed location?
I believe, let me double check here. It is 135
Reed
West
Hill, please.
Main. Yes, it's if I'm not mistaken, it's the orange building on Main Street. And that'll be one thing that we need to look into as well. Obviously, that building has sat vacant for a number of years now. So we definitely need to make sure we got the building department involved and the inspectors and such to make sure the building's even up to code to actually host a business at this point. And that's why I wanted to push this off till next meeting at the least. So hopefully we can get in there, potentially reach out to the owners and say, hey, we need to make sure the establishment, meets current building code. And if
Not
anybody
only
wants
that-
to be, yeah, go ahead.
Do we have anything on the books that kind of mandates some type of, the color of it is like a two-tone whitewash on top of orange? Do we have anything that states, they have to have a fresh paint job every so often, or approval of the color by the village? Or do we have anything like this?
As far as color goes, I know that was something that was discussed. Talking back to the very beginning of my term, I don't know if anything was ever finalized, but as far as peeling paint and the general exterior of the building, that does fall under the property maintenance code, which we do have on the books. And typically it's more so there can't be peeling paint. The general appearance of the building needs to be kept, it needs to be kept clean. It usually can't be painted in the color scheme it currently is, kind of mishmash. There needs to be a generally, coherent, painting throughout the entire building. So that's definitely something we need to look into as well. And I think Craig could help us a little bit on that. And then definitely we'll have Carolyn look into it, and then Mike, just to kind of verify the property maintenance code. But perfect example, probably another thing we should get on the books for the next, term here in the next couple of years is something that actually does state we have a color palette or a kind of, a scheme we want to see throughout town that kind of brings it together a little bit and gives us a more uniform appearance, which is not uncommon for a lot of communities. So, as I know right now, no, we don't have a color scheme we need to adhere to, but yes, there is general practices that need to be adhered to for the outside, condition of the building.
Okay.
Any other
you.
questions? No problem.
I have, I guess it's just comments really, but I agree that I agree that that could be a very cool thing to have in town. I was also going to ask so the orange building, are you guys talking the basically main block in town?
Mhm.
Main block on 173? Okay.
Yeah.
Like
So
basically,
north side of 173, center of the block, the main block in town.
right. Okay.
So.
Okay. The only other thought that I really have is I would like to see something with him. I understand with his letter, he says sterile environment and everything like that. I just want to make sure that it will be, and again, I have tattoos too, and I would love to have a tattoo shop in town, and it sounds like it could be a really cool place, and that he wants to do something really cool with it. But I want to make sure that I think this just goes to everything that we've been talking about with it, but need to make sure that he's registering with the health department and all that kind of stuff, and just do
I
it.
think you'd have to in order to run a tattoo shop.
You
has
do,
to-
and that would
there's
kind of
He has
fall.
to have a permit from the health department.
Code. Yeah.
Right. I just saying there was not. He like I said, he said in his letter the sterile environment and this and that, but he didn't just. I just want to make sure that everybody's covering all their bases and that everything's done kosher.
That's where, that would probably be where the building inspector would come in, because the state of Illinois says he has to have 2 sinks.
Yeah, and that would be part of the overall plan, and that's where
Right.
I want him to be in building and present this himself to us. And one of the things we could require is a more, I guess, substantial building plan, and kind of what he plans to do to make sure this building is up to a certain standard.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what we can bring up at the next meeting, which is perfect. So think of these questions and then make sure you ask them when he's actually in person, and then say, hey, this is what we need to see from you.
Do you think we should involve the property owner as well, since they would know more about the property itself and like condition wise, and answer more questions about the internal structure?
I mean, we could try. We could try and reach out and see if they would be interested in attending as well. I think where that would kind of come into play would be to make sure that we can actually gain access to the building before the meeting. And then take a look at it ourselves and actually do a walkthrough inspection of it, just to verify whether or not it's even a fit structure, to post something that obviously requires very stringent health, regulations and requirements.
Right. Yeah. Because if like there's black mold or something, obviously you couldn't have that in the environment pumping through.
Exactly.
And this is Camille. When you guys look through Chapter 8, you'll see there's some things about sanitation and things like that also. So when you get reading further into that chapter, you'll, maybe we should do something with that. But there is a section in there. So.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Any other further discussion on that? This is great. If there is, now's the time. I think we kind of touched all bases. Make sure you think on this for the next 2 weeks, and then we'll kind of jump on in the next meeting. Okay, moving forward, Trustee Wilcox, do you have anything this evening?
Not at this time.
Thank you. Trustee Dirksen.
Nothing for me this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Wolfarth?
I just had some questions. I hadn't seen both plows around, and I didn't know, is there a problem with one of our trucks?
Both plows have been out for the last week or so, yeah.
Okay, because I had only seen the one. I hadn't seen the other, and I didn't know if there was a problem or not. So I just.
We had an issue. There was mechanical failure with the one truck. I want to say it was down for a couple days, but that was going back 2 weeks ago now, I think it was. So no, there's no issues with the trucks.
Okay, thank you. That's all I had.
Thank you. Trustee Berghorn.
Nothing at this time.
Okay, Trustee Wakely.
Nothing at the time.
All right, thank you. Mr. Green.
Yeah, no report tonight. Thank you.
Okay, new business. Nothing outside of that. Reports and unfinished business. I don't think I'm missing anything we need to close up from last meeting. I think we kind of tied up that. Closing comments. Okay, so I guess I'll wrap it up real quick. Kind of the game plan and goal moving forward. So as a lot of people know at this point, Illinois is starting to open back up again. Boone County is starting to, I guess, loosen the restrictions a little bit. There's talks for moving into Tier 4 as well. And that allows in-person attendance again. So what I'm going to be looking at is starting, the first meeting in February is in-person attendance again by the board. Obviously, we're going to keep up the option to attend remotely. For instance, if you have been exposed to COVID-19, you're experiencing COVID-19 type symptoms, don't attend the board meeting. You can still attend remotely though. So I've been working over the last couple of weeks with our Public Works Department as well to get the boardroom kind of set up and kind of in a more favorable kind of setting, to allow us to distance a bit or kind of separate somewhat. We've got new desks that are coming in this week and everything that allow us to have more of our own space. One of my questions to the board, though, and how you felt on this, is each board member is going to have their own individual desk, a small desk now moving forward. And that'll be your desk, that will kind of sanitize, but for you alone for each board meeting. Would the board be more comfortable if there was the, I guess, plastic shields or sneeze guards, as they're sometimes called, on the sides of their desk, further separating each individual? Because we're not going to be able to maintain a full 6-foot distance in between each desk. We just don't have enough space for that here. So would that make the board more comfortable to have those, or would just being wearing the mask be enough for the board that they feel comfortable meeting in person at that point? Tom, do you have any remarks on that?
Well, I know Loves Park has the shields between each. They don't really have the ability to spread out, so they have clear plexiglass between each seat. McChesney Park is going in person this coming Monday, I think. And they have the room. They have a big room, so they're able to get 6 feet apart. They're not having public attend this coming one, so they'll still be going Zoom and YouTube. But they might be looking at the end of February to let the public come in. So I've seen it both ways.
Okay. So how does the board feel on that then? Is there any concerns you guys have? Would you like those plastic guards? Because we can get them. I just need to know now so I can make sure they're ordered and they're in place by the time we actually get to the meeting.
I don't really think so, but
I don't know. I think a lot of the board has already had it, pretty much been sick, I think, but
I've had it.
I haven't either, but I mean, a lot, but I think as long as we're wearing masks, maybe would people feel more comfortable when we do open the doors?
Yeah, so I guess my question would be then, does anybody actually want the plastic guard? Would you feel comfortable if you at least had the option to have the plastic guard for your desk to kind of separate a bit? If not, that's totally fine. I might just get 1 or 2 to have on hand if anybody feels differently last minute, kind of thing. But otherwise,
I was going to say the same thing. Maybe just get a couple, just so there's the option there. But personally, I had it. I'm cool for a few months, so I'm cool for now. And so I'm personally fine without one once we get back there. So,
No, definitely. And then I know as far as public attendance goes, potentially the thought right now is opening up our meetings for public attendance, potentially the first meeting in February. We'll kind of finalize that moving forward, as obviously we see COVID numbers adjust and change and what the rolling average is. We will be restricting the number of people allowed to attend in person, because obviously we do have a smaller meeting space and we can't facilitate spreading out a whole bunch of people in here. We typically don't see a lot of, public attendance. It's usually small numbers, which will work for us. But I also believe there's restrictions even still from the state of Illinois, depending on our room capacity and size as to how many people we can allow attending. So we'll adhere to that as best we can. We'll kind of keep the public in tune, and we'll let them know as we move forward. For right now, definitively, the board will be meeting in person as long as you don't have symptoms or have, the virus. And then we'll be exploring and potentially opening up for residents as well to attend. We'll keep doing YouTube. We'll keep doing Zoom. That's not going to change for the foreseeable future. That's something we're going to want to keep open and obviously facilitate that interaction. Does the board have any concerns or questions with the whole opening up and where we're going to be with that?
So I've got a question of, have we, basically, I just had this thought because of going and voting and seeing what a large space the Lions Club is.
Mm-hmm.
Have we thought at all about possibly holding meetings there to be, or is that, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just a thought to possibly to be able to try to socially distance better if we end up having like some crazy turnout where it's like, oh, there's people that aren't able to be admitted because of number of people restrictions or anything. Like, would that even be a possibility, or could we
It would be a possibility. We would lose the capability to stream and broadcast the meeting though. And so that's one thing where we open it up to more in-person attendance, but we lose the ability to allow that remote attendance kind of thing.
Just because of internet capabilities?
Yes, internet capabilities, and then what it takes equipment-wise to stream and kind of do what we're doing moving forward. Surprisingly enough, our interaction remotely has been consistently higher than our interaction in person ever was for the last couple of years here.
Yeah.
So that's something I really would hate to kind of let go and take away from the individuals. So we'll kind of play it by ear. I guess if we end up thinking we're going to get potentially large numbers, we'll get moving to another space. That's something we legally have to do anyways, according to OMA and state statute. Is if we are expecting that a huge turnout, we'd have to move to a bigger building no matter what. So that's not even a COVID restriction.
Right.
So that's, I guess, if the trustees know of that potentially happening, let me know so I can plan for that.
Well,
Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
One modification to that, while the governor's order is still in play that allows for virtual attendance,
Mhm.
I mean, you could probably do a first come, first serve. We can only hold 10. And then if you
Mhm.
didn't make it, you're just going to have to go home and watch it on YouTube or virtually attend. So at this point, if you knew 200 were going to be there, it doesn't matter because 200 people can watch it on YouTube or get into a waiting room type situation or call in and listen. But I do expect that to change eventually, where we're
Mhm.
back to pure personal meetings. And then absolutely, if you're holding a meeting and you got room for 50 and 150 show up, you have to suspend the meeting and find some place to go where they can all get in. That's the rule.
Yep. So, no, that's perfect. And then that's kind of what I was thinking, moving forward as far as, restricting it in person. I don't see us really busting outside that. It's just not what's historically happened over the last couple of years.
And honestly, it doesn't make
ahead.
sense that many people would attempt to show up when there's still a risk of COVID. I mean,
Yeah.
it's fun to
You
go
would
to a
hope.
meeting, but it's not fun to put yourself at risk.
Mhm.
I'm guessing there would be a bit of a balance there.
Yeah.
I have one last question.
Yeah, definitely.
We had talked a couple months ago about possibly purchasing, and I think we actually approved the purchase of TVs or a TV or something to be able to.
Yep.
Has that happened, or is that still a possibility? Or I guess I'm just curious. I just thought about it when we were talking about it.
Yeah, no, actually, it totally has happened. You guys are on the TV right now. And that's one of the things in the last couple of meetings, I was kind of playing with it to allow the residents to attend in person through the TV.
Right.
So we've got the TV here, we've got a TV stand, we've actually got it set up. So that way, once we're all in building again, we could still have people attend remotely through the TV. And you're a little bit more visible than a little screen on a desk at this point. And residents can attend that way as well. So no, definitely you guys will see some changes once you show up. We've got the TV, we've got some separation, so I think it'll be a nice happy medium mix that people really appreciate and be able to adapt to fairly easily.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so as we're kind of still talking a little bit here, I'm going to go ahead and open it up to audience comments. It's 7:34 right now, 7:35. I'm going to give it until 7:38 unless we have a lot of interaction from residents to comment in. Call. I've got the phone right here. I'm on the computer. I'm on Facebook as well. So you can go ahead and message the village page, comment the village page. You can chat live with us on YouTube. You can email in. I might not get those, so just you're aware. Call village phone, any way you'd like to kind of reach out to us, by all means. There we go. So does anybody have any questions, I guess, coming up on this new year? Obviously, we're starting the year again. Things are a little bit different. Is there any concerns for the new year or how things are being handled as far as COVID goes or opening up? Anything like that that kind of people are maybe even looking to pose lately? I know it's been fairly quiet, which is good. If not, a great thing we just got installed too is actually a new intercom system at our drive-through window. So if you go to the drive-through window now, next to the slot box, there's actually a little brown box. There's a button on it. Push the button, it rings 2 bells inside the building. There's actually a handset our clerk can pick up, and she can communicate with you through the window now. So if you're at the drive-through, you don't want to come in. Obviously, there's still cause for concern for COVID and things like that. Pull up to the window, you can handle almost all of your business through the drive-through window now. There's no more signs on the window, there's more yelling. It works really well. And it's obviously something we're looking to expand if it continues to work like we think it's going to.
It's awesome.
Good to know, because I went through yesterday and called.
Did it work? Or
I didn't push the button. I didn't know about it. So I just picked up the phone and called, and it was busy, and I left a message that I dropped off my water bill.
Gotcha. Okay. And that was yesterday you did that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Nope. There's a little box there, button, push it, rings on the inside, rings in the main meeting room. Works pretty good. I've tested it a couple times myself.
It works.
It's fun.
Can you
It's a lot
order
better than
tacos?
yelling through the window.
I'm just waiting for you to show up and try and order food, Ryan.
Oh, I'll be there.
Let me see.
I'll pass pizza out the slot.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
I'll be there. You have me a pizza.
Okay, so it looks like we don't have any attendees. We don't have any comments. With that in mind, is there any closing comments from the board?
Be there at 3 o'clock. Pepperoni pizza, please.
You got it.
Awesome. So if I can go ahead and get a motion to adjourn the meeting then.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting, Linda.
Trustee Wolfarth makes a motion to adjourn. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Wakely seconds. Miss Carolyn, can we have roll call on that?
Sure. Shirley Berghorn,
Aye.
Ryan Wakely,
Bye.
Conrad Lubinski,
All right.
Jordan Dirksen,
Aye.
Camille Wilcox,
Hi.
Linda Wolfarth.
Aye.
Motion carries. Awesome. Everyone have a
Good night,
evening
everyone.
then.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.